not looking for, not James K. James Wade, are you with us? He's with us. Coach, are you with us?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
We certainly can, Coach.
Okay, all right.
All right, thanks. Welcome back from Toronto. Good to see you there. We're going to turn
Do
right
you,
away to
do you need
questions.
to do you need to see my face?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay. I figured I'd spare you guys.
No, no worries. We're going to go right to Q&A, and we're going to start in Chicago with Annie. Annie, go ahead.
Hey, James. First question, just what's the timeline for Elizabeth's return to the court?
She was with us today, so she's still progressing. So she was actually doing some stuff on the floor today, so she's progressing accordingly. So we're just trying to make sure that we don't have any setbacks. And right now we haven't, so it feels pretty good to just have her out there being a part of 100% of everything.
And do you expect her to be available for the game on Friday?
No expectations, but I think we're moving in that direction.
Okay, and then just one more. When will Izzy be back with the team?
Not sure. That's a fluid situation, so we're just trying to be as sure as we can about how healthy she is.
Is it still not an injury issue, just a personal decision, or what kind of update do you have as far as Izzy's status goes?
I think it's everything that we've said. So it's something that we want to remain in house so we have all this information.
Okay.
All right, thanks. We're going to turn to James K, and you're going to be followed by Akeem.
Hey, Coach, thanks for your time. Just in terms of the updates go, is there anything that you can give us on Lee and if she has returned to basketball activities?
She hasn't returned to basketball activities yet. So, we're still monitoring her health because of her injury overseas, but she hasn't returned yet. She's still doing some rehab stuff, but hasn't done anything on the floor.
I'm sorry, Coach. I had a little bit of a hard time hearing you. Did you say has not returned to the to basketball activities?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
has not returned to the floor.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to turn to Akeem. Akeem, you're going to be followed by Stephen. Akeem.
Sounds like a plan. Absolutely. Hopefully everything's going great, Coach, and best of luck this season. There have been lots of lots of WNBA pundits that have kind of written your team off already. As far as the outlook at the landscape of the W. But you're kind of going into this season actually with a couple of big games actually. The rematch with Minnesota, and then of course the nationally televised game against Phoenix with Brittany Griner's return. So if you could, what are your feelings going into it with a couple of with some big games already on the schedule?
I think the Minnesota game is, we have to actually understand that it's not the team that we're gonna play. I think they were in a evaluation mode just like us and trying to see what they can, what pieces fit together, but I don't think that's necessarily the team that we're going to play this Friday. And the game with Phoenix, I'm looking forward to. It's the first time that I've been able to see, in the basketball world, be able to see BG in a long time. So I think both games are meaningful because they're WNBA season games, but each one will carry some sort of weight that we have to really appreciate and don't take for granted.
All right, thank you, Akeem. Stephen, you're up. You're going to be followed by Kevin. Stephen.
Hey, Coach Stephen Garner from CHGO Sports. I had two quick questions for you. The first of which being, what have you been able to glean in terms of evaluations from Morgan Birch and her two-way versatility in the preseason?
I think she's a WNBA player. And we see similarities between her and what we saw in Rebecca when we were, scouting them. We thought of somebody into our system, but rather seeming. And, we think that, it's somebody that, with a little bit of coaching, a lot of confidence that can really make her mark in the WNBA.
Thank you. And then my last question would be, so we haven't seen Marina Mabry in the Chicago Sky uniform yet. I think the first thing that pops off to people is her shooting and spacing that she'll bring, but what else are you expecting for her to bring to this fold in this new rendition for you?
I mean, we expect for her to, bring, spacing and the ability to make shots. And, she's a tough player. Defensively, she's very solid. She can guard positions 1 through 3. So, that's the thing. We expect for her to make shots at a high rate, keep the floor spread, and also, be a playmaker for herself and for her teammates.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, you're up. You're going to be followed by Ann Myers-Drysdale. Kevin.
Hi, Coach. How are you doing this afternoon?
All right. How you doing, Kevin?
Doing well, thank you. You have an incredible knack of bringing out the best in players, and we've seen that the past few years in Kalia Copper as a Finals MVP in 2021, and last year bringing up Rebecca Gardner in her defensive abilities, finishing top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year honors. So in this particular training camp, who is one of the players that you've seen that have stood out the most in training camp and think that you could bring the best out of coming into this season?
It's been a few. Like, we've had some players that I think are, gonna get to where they need to be. I think, if you're not talking about just players that we've had on our roster or players that you guys have seen, and, I probably won't get credit for, like, the Marinas or Elizabeths and stuff like that, because they were players once they, I think Elizabeth's going to be really good in our system. I think Morgan and Elena are going to be really good in our systems as well. And I know it'll be a little bit of a, something that's unexpected from you guys, but I really think that, they can do some stuff where they add value to what we want to do.
And just to follow up on that, Dana Evans has been really impressive in preseason as well. What have you seen in her growth and development throughout this training camp?
I think with Dana, I think she's starting to understand that her abilities as a scorer and a playmaker are something that are second nature, and her focus on the defensive end are what helps bring those qualities that she loves so much out. I think we've seen her better defensive games have been her better scoring and better playmaking games, and that's something that I think she's trying to take about.
Thank you very much, Coach.
All right, thanks, Kevin. We're going to turn next to the Annies, starting with Ann Myers-Drysdale. Annie, go ahead.
Hey, James, wishing you good luck this season. Wanted to talk a little bit about if there is an adjustment. You lost some key players and certainly have some talented players coming in, but how you might change your style in the sense of around the players that you have this year, if that does change, and with some of the players that you do have coming in new, how long is it going to take to kind of gel?
I think, you change it in ways that, brings out the qualities of the players that we have. I think the way we play and how we play pretty much stays the same, but the things that we do to get to those things, they change because of the personnel. I think last year we had a lot of playmaking bigs that were able, to create with the ball in their hands. I think we have to find ways for our post players to create and do other things that help promote the way we play without the ball in their hands. And so the way we play and how we play is going to stay the same, but of course we're going to change stylistically, like some of the things we do to kind of promote movement and making the ball zip and things like that.
All right, we're going to turn to the next Annie Costabile. Go ahead, Annie.
James, I'm curious how the uncertainty with players' availability in your front court, specifically Elizabeth and now Izzy, how that's going to impact your opening day roster. And
it doesn't impact anything.
Okay, but if they're not available, how
it doesn't impact anything. doesn't impact anything. That answers your question. That should answer it. It doesn't impact it.
Are you looking at players beyond those in your training camp right now?
Our roster is going to be our roster, so it doesn't impact. It's the same thing as if they were available.
How are you working to develop that cohesion with a new group, given the fact that there's been players in and out of camp?
We have training camp practice every day.
Thanks.
All right, one more time, we're going to just a reminder, use the raised hand function if you have a question for Coach. All right, if everybody is good, I'm sorry, Stephen, go ahead, Stephen, you have a question?
Hey, Coach, one more quick follow-up. So
Yeah,
in
sure.
previous renditions, you all haven't been the team that's put up that many attempts from three. And I know you've mentioned a handful of times as well. That's not something that you've prioritized, rather just good shot quality in general. However, in the game on Saturday in Canada, you guys got up 24 attempts and you guys had really good ball movement. And it seemed like your kind of lended itself to that. That's something that's kind of a change of philosophy with this new rendition.
Yeah, I think, I guess we want to find the best shots possible. And sometimes those are going to be 3-point shots. And some, but we want to make sure that we're getting as many catch and shoots as possible and creating lanes. And it doesn't really matter who we have in our lineup. I think we were able to do that effortlessly. We just have to keep on building on that as opposed to, focusing on who's there or who's not on Monday. We just have to continue to build cohesion together. And that's the most important thing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Nikias, you're up, and you're going to be followed by Akeem. Nikias, go ahead.
Oh, hi, Coach. Hope you're having a good day. I wanted to go big picture very quickly. Since you've been coaching in the league for a while, you've obviously seen the league kind of grow and evolve in terms of play style and just the general exposure of it. On the court, what do you think the next evolution of the W is going to be? Do you feel like it's going to be like more playmaking wings? Do you think it's going to be more skilled bigs and kind of inverting the offense and operating that way? Where do you see the league going in that sense?
It's a little wild because I see you look at the evolution of the NBA and they're all about these 6'7" playmaking wings that can kind of switch and do all these things where you have two teams in the semifinals that only have one big on the roster. I mean, if you count Cody Zeller, maybe two for Miami, but it's not a lot. And traditionally in the WNBA, you carry 5 bigs all the time, every team. But for the last 15 years, probably the most impactful position has been the 4 position and having somebody that's very versatile that can switch and pick and rolls, that can bring the ball up the floor and kind of make plays and defend the rim at the same time. I'm eager to see if that changes, see if that follows the trend where you have 6'1", 6'2" playmaking wings and them be as impactful, even more impactful than the big. So I'm open. You saw Cheryl do that the other night where she had a lineup where everybody was 6'2" and they were switching everything. So it's up in the air. Normally if you see a team have success, other teams will follow. So we're just, I'm waiting to see just like everybody else, but we have a way that we play and we're just going to try to figure it out as it comes.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Nikias. We're going to turn to Akeem. Akeem, and just a reminder, raise your hand, folks, if you have a question for James. Akeem.
Absolutely. And one other point, forgive me if somebody has already asked you this since the Canada game, but given its success, the turnout that was, that game got, and also the merchandise sales, do you think that it's something that perhaps the WNBA should probably do on an annual basis during the preseason?
Just like go travel internationally or to untapped markets.
Sure.
I think it's behooves everyone for the growth of the game. I think we've seen it with our counterparts do the same thing, and now we see what they get some 20, 30 years later, where they have television in every country and have players that come from every continent that are major stars in our game. So I think we can do the same thing, and I think we're headed in that direction. So the fact that our league is so young, I know it's going to take time, but I think Kathy and the rest of the WNBA are doing a great job of promoting our league and of making a primary resource for the eyes as far as basketball is concerned.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Akeem. And James, thank you for your time. Best of luck during the season. Again, good to see you in Toronto. Thanks, James.